Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with another video on the 2018 Tata Steel Tournament. This time it is about the Challengers group. It was the Indian Grandmaster Vidit who won the Challengers group and who has qualified for the Masters group in 2019. Vidit Santosh Gujrathi, and you can correct my pronunciation. I know I have a lot of viewers from India. He's 23 years old and he was born in Nashik in India in the western region of Maharashtra. 10 years ago he became the first Indian player to win the World Under-14 Championship, which was held in Vietnam at the time. He earned the Grandmaster title in 2013 and became the fourth Indian player to cross the 2700 ELO mark in September 2017. He made his first appearance in the Tata Steel tournament in 2018. He was the top seed in the Challengers, and as I said, he won the Challengers and will go to the Masters for 2019. He will be playing against the World Elite next year. I will show you the game Vidit played in the penultimate round, round 12, played on the 27th of January 2018. He was black against Olga Giria, a woman grandmaster from Russia. Let's have a look at the game. Giria opened d4 and Vidit played the Dutch defense. Quite appropriate to play the Dutch defense in the Netherlands. But more appropriately, of course, Vidit wanted to win this game. Giria was at the bottom of the standings and he wanted a unbalanced, complicated position. g3, knight f6, bishop g2, g6 and knight d2 from Giria. The comments I'm using here are from Grandmaster Daniel Fernandez on ChessBase and International Master Gert Lichterink in his newspaper article. Knight d2 is a slightly rare line and maybe one which indicates a degree of fear, writes Fernandez. White is trying to get e4 in and swap pieces quickly. She wants to play e4 as soon as possible. The main line would be knight f3 instead of knight d2 and then bishop g7. It's a Leningrad variation of the Dutch defense. Both players would castle, c4, d6 and knight c3. This is the main position. And now black can choose between c6 or knight c6 or queen e8. Those are the main moves. But Giria played knight d2 to play a quick e2, e4. Bishop g7 from Vidit, and there comes e4 straight away. This direct approach against the Dutch defense doesn't pose black any problems, is what the Grandmaster and the International Master write. They agree on that point. Vidit took, Giria took back with the knight, knight takes, bishop takes. Yes, white has been able to swap some pieces, but is not fighting for an opening advantage here. Here Vidit played d5. Another variation is to castle, and then, for example, knight e2. Then e5 is an interesting move. D takes, knight c6, f4 and d6. This is a more adventurous way for black to play, as Grandmaster Fernandez writes. And he says this is probably getting dynamic equality, even though black has sacrificed a pawn. But Vidit played d5. Bishop has to go back, bishop g2. Knight c6 developing, knight e2, and here e5 is a very sharp move, but Vidit decided to play bishop g4. Here c3 is the right move, and then e5 is a good move and black has a good game. But Giria decided to play f3, and Grandmaster Fernandez writes, blunting the bishop cannot be clever, and now white has no chance of an opening edge. The bishop went back to f5. Black already has achieved full equality after only 10 moves. Giria castled, queen d6, and here Giria did not play bishop f4. She was probably afraid of queen b4. Threatening to win a pawn on b2, but the engine tells us that this pawn sacrifice is playable for white. For example, c3, then black can take a pawn, g4 kicking the bishop, bishop back, rook b1 hitting the queen, queen takes, and rook takes b7, and this is okay for white. But Giria was probably worried about this, that's why she did not play bishop f4, she played c3 instead. Here Vidit played e5, while castling queenside followed by e5 on the next move is a better move order, because after e5, which was played in the game, Giria could have played this variation, d takes e5, knight takes, knight d4, hitting the bishop, bishop back, and then f4, hitting the knight, knight back to c6, and queen e2 check, and this is okay for white. So that's why it had been better to castle queenside first before playing e5. But Giria did not find this variation. She played bishop e3. And now Vidit castled queenside and black is better. Queen d2 and h5, which got an exclamation mark from international master Lichterink. Good move. Rook ae1 from Giria. She's not putting up too much resistance, which she could have done with bishop g5, and then rook de8, that rook was hanging, and then rook ad1, and this would have limited white's problems. But after the move from the game rook ae1, black gets a nice advantage. He played h4, and Giria played g4, not allowing black to open any lines to the white king. And h3, exclamation mark, important move, otherwise white will play h3 herself and will consolidate her position. Then there's no way to open any lines or break through on the king side. Bishop back to h1, bishop back to d7, that bishop was attacked, rook d1, rook de8, improving that rook, and here if Giria would have played rook fe1, then it's still asking the question of how black is going to try and break through, although an obvious move like rook hf8 will leave black with a better position. But after rook de8, Giria decided to take on e5, and that's not a good move. Queen takes, bishop d4, knight took on d4, and if you now take back with the queen, then there is bishop b5, and white has a big problem on e2. That knight is pinned, it is attacked 3 times, and if you take the queen, then rook takes back, and that doesn't really help white either. She's going to lose material because of the bad position of the knight, which is pinned and attacked twice. So queen takes d4 was not possible, so Giria took with the knight. And here an interesting moment, bishop takes g4 was played, spectacular piece sacrifice. It gets a question mark from Grandmaster Fernandez and an exclamation mark from international master Lichterink. And the engine agrees with the Grandmaster in this case. A better move would have been queen d6, and this would have left white with essentially no moves, says Fernandez. It's hard to find a good move here for white. After bishop takes g4, it is not good to take the piece, because then there is bishop h6 attacking the queen, and there's a very strong attack against white's king now. If you save the queen, for example queen c2, then there is bishop e3 check. You have to interpose your rook. Of course you're a piece up with white, so you can afford to give some material back. But black of course does not take on f2, he plays rook hf8, increasing the pressure. And after knight f3 there is queen e4. White has to swap the queens. Queen takes, d takes, and this is completely winning for black. The rook is pinned, the knight can't really play because then This rook will also attack the rook on f2 and black will win a full rook. This is totally lost for white. So after bishop takes g4, taking that bishop is not good, but rook fe1 is a good move, leaving the white king with a flight square, which is important to try and deal with black's attack. But Giria played rook de1, and now everything is okay for black. He played queen h5, very nice how Vidit plays this attack. Giria swapped a rook on e8 and played f takes g4 now, so she took the piece now, attacking the queen. But now black's attack is decisive. Queen takes g4 check, king f2, queen h4 check, and if you go to f3 with the king, then bishop h6 wins easily. Giria went to g1 with the king, but had to resign after bishop h6. There's nothing to be done. The queen is attacked, and if you save your queen, there is bishop e3 check. And you have to give your queen for the bishop, because the only other move, rook f2, is checkmate after queen takes f2. Very nice win from Vidit after a timid opening from white. One day later, Vidit had won the Challengers group and will play in the Masters group in 2019. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box, and I also have a link here to the Chess to Progress channel. It would be great if you could check it out, and if you like it, the material there, it would be great if you could subscribe there as well. I have series there on tactics, endgames, classics from the past and the present, and also over 50 videos of viewers' games. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.